Hey everyone, it is Bertram Lansiquot, and I couldn't imagine just how important this talk and this presentation would be when we originally booked to speak with the Tennessee h.i.m State Convention weeks or months ago. And with all of us and a lot of us being on stay-at-home orders and not able to network, go to conferences, and meet people and just, build relationships the way that we're usually able to, it would not be a more opportune time for us to take advantage of the strategies that we have. Just because we cannot do those traditional things doesn't mean we cannot utilize some more new and modern traditional methods to building relationships and getting renowned career opportunities. And this is a great talk, whether you are looking to graduate soon, a recent grad, or you're tenured within an employer and looking to change. Maybe everyone within that employer knows you very well, but you're looking to, let's say, work remotely, right? You're looking to get and build relationships with a new potential employer, and you're wondering how you can do that. And those are the things and the strategies that we're going to talk about today. So I'm highly interested in speaking with each of you after this. Thank you so much for watching this presentation, and let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about the biggest challenges to students, new graduates, and pretty much a lot of folks that have been displaced because of the recent changes and events in the news in today's economy. I'll go into a little bit about my background and to help each of you understand why I'm so passionate about this talk, why we should definitely get connected, and strategies on building connections in any industry. One thing that I love about this is after this presentation, you will have real life examples as to how you can go ahead and do that, how you can go ahead and build those relationships and end up getting renowned career opportunities. So the biggest challenge for students and new graduates in today's economy, and this was actually published in Forbes in November of last year, recent college graduates have the highest unemployment rate. And it's actually usually double the national average. At that time, I think we were around 3.5% of unemployment. So the recent grads that were surveyed had close to 6 to 7% unemployment rate. And I can't imagine what the unemployment rate numbers are going to look like when everything is done with the events in the news. But we're also going to have a very high unemployment rate. And it makes total sense because think about it. If someone has an opportunity to hire a new grad, but they also have an opportunity to hire somebody with experience. And what happens with events like these is a lot of folks get displaced. People that have really great experience and that were doing a great job are not able to work. So they will usually try to find any opportunity, right, to keep the lights on and keep their bills paid. So they will also apply to some of those more entry-level opportunities, making it that much harder for recent college graduates to land opportunities. College graduates are very likely to be unemployed or underemployed compared to overall workers. And I've also experienced this myself. A lot of universities and schools are not aligning their curriculum with the needs of today's job market. For example, one of the things that when I went through school, and it wasn't too far long ago, is they didn't really teach us a lot of things about building relationships, how to actually get jobs, interviewing skills, and even the softwares that we were going to use. Yes, we use Office, Excel, and all of those things, but to actually utilize those platforms or some more recent social media platforms to actually get jobs and get hired and build relationships, it wasn't really there for us. And outside of the curriculum, entering the job market turns into a rude awakening for most. And I can definitely speak for myself. When I graduated school and I had my degree, I'm like, finally, everybody's been telling me, get your degree, right? You'll be entering the job market and you'll be able to get, job opportunities, make six figures and all of these things, right? It's definitely a possibility, but it's much harder to get there. And when I started applying to jobs, just as many within h.i.m, what do you traditionally hear? Thank you so much for your application, but you do not have experience. We need people with experience. We need people with experience. So it turns into a rude awakening. And what I mean by that is you've been told something for, let's say, 18 to 20 something years, and then you go to the job market and it is obviously much harder than you thought it was going to be. It almost seems like the degree or that certification for those in h.i.m would have been the trump card, right? It would have been like your ace. And since you have that, you should be able to get job opportunities. But then folks start replying that you do not have the experience. And it's that big catch-22 that we always talk about, right? How can you get experience if no one's willing to give you a chance or an opportunity to get that experience? And that's why we're here today. So we're going to really talk about some strategies to help each of you land and get those opportunities. So for myself and my background, I entered the workforce in 2007, at the end of 2007, as a college graduate. I went from being employed for a marketing firm to unemployment. And just around the time that my unemployment ran out, I was underemployed. I just had to get some job. I got a job within healthcare, and I learned what recruiting was, and I just started to have a passion for recruiting. I was able to get my recruiting career started in 2011, and within 6 months, I was a peak performer. Now, the untold story about that is it took me 3 years to get a recruiting position. And I say that again. It took me 3 years to get a recruiting position. I had so many phone interviews with hiring managers, and they all said the same thing. Bertram, thank you so much for your application, but you do not have experience. I was finally able to connect with someone, and that person said, hey, Bertram, I can refer you to a hiring manager. And I wasn't looking for any special favor, but I was looking for a chance and an opportunity to prove myself. I was looking for a chance and opportunity for me to show my grit and my drive and my passion, and it just turned out for the best. I was able to help that company going through a lot of transitions, incorporate daily social media recruiting into practice. The tenured recruiters that had 18 plus years of experience at my employer and my mentors, people that I'm still in touch with today, they were great, but they just had a fantastic network of people. So whenever they needed, let's say, an inpatient coder for an opportunity, h.i.m director, they had available talent. But folks like myself, we were looking at, well, they have most of the tenured people in the industry. Who else is out there? At the time, social media was uncharted territory for my organization, and I essentially assigned it as my territory. And I was able to add and start bringing in new people to the organization that we've never connected with before. And think about it. With h.i.m departments at this time, a lot of them being working from home and sent home, how are you going to connect with these individuals? And it's through social media channels. I left that company. I was recruited to start a recruiting team from scratch for a $1 billion IT healthcare company. And in 2018, I started my own recruiting agency. And the reason why I share this with each of you is to help you understand that it really takes a lot longer to get on your path. And I've surveyed, I've talked to professors of h.i.m. I've talked with h.i.m directors and people very high up. And I just asked them about, hey, what about you? Did you experience any failures, or was it easy? And please understand, I am not sharing my story to dampen what you're going to be able to do. If you can graduate, or if you've known somebody that has, let's say, graduated, they have their degree, their certification, they go to the job market, they apply, they get a job, that's fantastic. Let me know. I want to congratulate you. But I think what's really surprised me as a recent graduate, having my degree, or for some of you having your certifications, it just may be a little bit harder to get those jobs. And we've talked, and media has talked about how we've always had a nursing shortage, right? I've even talked to nurses and said, okay, I've heard for each of you, it should be very easy for you to get a job. I mean, by the time you graduate, you should have a job offer in hand. And I've talked to nurses that said, Bertram, that wasn't the case, because they too are looking for that experience. And just as within h.i.m, and coders, as an example, have many different levels and skill sets and facilities that they may have experience in, it's the same thing for nurses. There are nurses that work for, like, let's say, moms and babies delivery services and areas. There are nurses that work in NICU. There are nurses that help with anesthesia. I mean, it's all segmented in ER, as an example. So for them, it's not as, oh, you're a nurse and you have your RN for this state, let's go ahead and get you a job. And the nurses that I've spoken to have said the same thing. Bertram, having a relationship, having a connection within that health system made all of the difference. So I just recognize that there's a common trend, whether it's recruiting, whether it's h.i.m, whether it was nursing, physician, and healthcare, that having connections really helps us get those job opportunities, okay? So we live in a digital world, and you think about it, our population is around 7.6 billion people. And with unique mobile users and people having their cell phones, it's so much easier for us to get connected, right? So that's why one of the strategies I'm going to talk about is by us just incorporating social media. And it's so interesting, when a lot of these social media platforms come out, it's usually the younger generation that joins, but always it's the older and more tenured generation that joins in, and just becomes like where you're able to connect not just with your friends and people that you went to school with, but uncles and parents. And a lot of these social media apps and networks are also more mature now. They've been around for 10 plus years. So a lot of us are more familiar with using them. And all I would say, and I know that some people are on the fence about joining social media because of a lot of the bad that we've heard, is you can actually utilize it in a very professional manner, whether it's just for searching for job opportunities or putting yourself out there for those types of things. And I've always been a big proponent of utilizing any and all channels to get opportunities. And even from me being able to present with each of you today, this actually came through social media. It came from me actually building a relationship with folks in the Tennessee h.i.m management, and we were able to say, hey, maybe we can bring something of value to each of you today. So we definitely have to realize the power of social media. And why should we get connected for Renown Career Opportunities? Okay, this is the big question that I posed at the beginning. Why should we get connected? And I would say in today's economy, it's not what you know. It's not you having your degree or your credential. It's not who you know. It's not that, oh, I know this person that works at a hospital. I know this decision maker. I know the president of the United States. Okay, all those are very good things. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have those, but follow me for a second. But it's who knows you. I am taking it another level and another step further, because us knowing that person for all of the great things that they're doing and they want to do doesn't necessarily help us. If I happen to know someone that's very high up at a healthcare system, I sure hope that they would know me. Hey, Bertram is in school. He's about to graduate. And actually, upon me graduating, I can then reconnect with them and say, hey, I've graduated with this degree. I've graduated with this credential. Might you be able to help me get and connect with somebody in your h.i.m department or your h.i.m director, because I'm really looking and interested at applying at one of your facilities. It's them and your network and your social media network to know you for what you're looking for, to know you for the stage that you're in your life and in your career. And it's just about putting those things out professionally, whether that's content creation, whether that's just having a profile on LinkedIn, and then you can actually trigger it to say, hey, recruiters, I am open to opportunities. I'm a new grad. I'm open to relocating to different areas of the country. All of those tools are available to us. And the best thing, everyone, is that those tools are free. You do not have to pay for them. You can just create a little social media profile, put a little picture on there. You can copy and paste so much information from your resume on your profile. And before you know it, you can say, hey, recruiters, I'm open for opportunities. And that's what I realized too. When I was, interviewing for 3 years and I didn't get a job opportunity as a recruiter, I didn't happen to have a lot of recruiting contacts outside of my employer. But I started building a social following. I started connecting with people. And I heard much later, what happened was the hiring manager that really said, hey, we need to go ahead and hire this individual. I think he has what it takes. This individual connected with the social media guru of the company. He's been in the business for a very long time. His name is Brad Justice. I'm not too sure if you've known him or if you've connected with him. He looked at my profile before I got started in recruiting. And he said, you know what? I love the recruiters we have in our office. I love everything that they're doing. But I feel like this gentleman can help us change this culture. I feel like this gentleman can bring more to the table than the people that we've worked with and that we've hired and put on assignments for the last 10 to 15 to 20 years. It was me actually having a really good LinkedIn profile, putting myself out there and connecting with people. And that didn't stop. Once I was hired on board, I kept those practices going. So it's not what you know. It's not who you know. It's who knows you. That's really where the opportunities are at in today's marketplace. So here are some simple strategies for us to build connections using social media. Is by creating and completing your profile. It's, yes, having your name on there, having your title, what you're doing, but it's by putting relevant information. LinkedIn, as an example, LinkedIn is powered by keyword search. So as an example, if I am looking for an inpatient coder in Knoxville, Tennessee, I can put that within LinkedIn. As a recruiter, we actually pay special access for this ability, and all the inpatient coders in Knoxville, Tennessee are going to pop up. And some folks may say, well, Bertram, I'm happily employed. Why would I do that? You can always keep the recruiters and the contact information of the folks that reach out to you for future events, right? As of things have happened and transpired as of recent. Wouldn't it have been so great for a lot of the people that were furloughed and laid off to have a little pocketbook of connections and say, hey, I can reach out to these employers, these recruiters, these hiring managers for opportunities. But what happens, we are usually blindsided and we do not know where to turn. So this is why having things like a LinkedIn profile and having it be complete can truly help us in a time of need. A great strategy too is to get connected at first with people that you know. Get connected with the people within your employer and the people that you know at different industries, even if they're not related. With LinkedIn as another example, the more people you know, the better. Okay. And the third strategy, let's get connected with people that we would like to know. Let's say you are in h.i.m. and you're going to be a coder. Okay. Get connected with all the coders locally in your local region. Then the auditors, then the coding managers, then the h.i.m. directors. That's how you'll start to build your network. And a lot of these folks that are especially within a hiring position, what they will do is when they have a job opening, they will post. They'll say, hey, if you happen to know anyone that may be a fit for this or interested, let us know. Or they'll post internship opportunities, or they'll post things that are relevant to their state associations. So it's so fantastic for us to be connected with people that we know and incorporating that daily. And that's still a practice that I do today. I try to connect with 10 new people a day. And later you'll realize you'll just have hundreds of connections that you can definitely connect with and be relevant connections. And just be active in likes, commenting, and sharing their posts if it means something to you. Another great and traditional strategy, maybe for some of you that are a little bit old school, is to take those connections offline. Don't underestimate the power of networking locally or nationally. For me, when I launched my business, this actually has made all of the difference because I knew some connections and people within h.i.m, so that helped. But then when I actually started going to some shows, so I went to the Florida h.i.m show, I also went to the national convention. It was great because through that, I was also able to get more opportunities for my business. So definitely do not underestimate the power of networking. Some of the folks that you would like to know or you send connection requests will only truly connect with people that they generally know. They are more taking a more traditional Facebook approach, and there's nothing wrong with that. But a website, for example, like LinkedIn, it is usually so professional. It's okay for you to have connections outside. It's more of, think of it this way. It's not people that you know now, but it's people that you're going to know in the future. Okay, it's not people that you know now, it's people that you're going to know in the future. And so many people change from who they are online versus offline. A short story, I was working with one of these, with a hiring manager, and things were going great, but they were so busy, so stressed, working so many hours. All of their answers were very short and didn't really give me a lot to go on to help them find great opportunities. I happened to run in and meet this individual at a company function. And since then, our relationship has changed for the better. I've left the organization, and imagine, we used to have tension via email at least, and now we are actually still staying in touch. We've gotten a little close. We've gotten a little chummy. I know a little bit more about what he does, not just at work, but offline too. And I wouldn't have been able to build that relationship to that level if we didn't happen to meet offline. And at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about, right? It's about meeting and connecting with people. And then when you're traveling or when you're going somewhere, it's like, oh, fantastic. Because I happen to know this person, I am in this area, we can connect. I recently took a trip to San Francisco, and because of my connections and people that I happen to know, I reached out to people in San Francisco, and I said, hey, does anybody know anyone at the LinkedIn office? I'd love to take a quick little tour. They do not have an open tour policy, right? For me, LinkedIn is like the Disney World of recruiters. So I thought they would have something like that. But I actually got a personalized tour, and I got to have some coffee there, eat some food there, and just had a really good experience. And I also able to shoot some content at the LinkedIn office in San Francisco. They just built that one in 2018. All of that wouldn't have happened if I didn't happen to meet and connect with people offline. So definitely build those connections online, and as you can, take them to a professional offline presence. And what I like for each of you, and this is just if I can provide some more value to you, okay? I am not here to recruit any of you, ideally. Ideally, what I like to do is just provide some value and give you some great tips, give you some great hints to help you further your career. And another way that I can provide value to each of you is for, if you like, to send me your resume, or just reach out to me on LinkedIn. And if you think that there may be any way, or if you're thinking, well, is my LinkedIn profile optimized to the best of its abilities, right? Connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a message with a hashtag #BeRenown, and just say, hey, Bertram, I saw this presentation. I appreciate it. Would you like to take a look at my resume? And as I said, it's not for me to put you within my business and those kinds of things. It's to help that resume be ready. So when you're ready and able to utilize it for new opportunities, that you can do it. If you do not have a LinkedIn presence, or you created one years ago and you think it may be useful for a little quick review by a recruiter, somebody that's worked with hundreds of hiring managers across the country, I can also do a critique of your LinkedIn profile. So once again, everyone, it was Bertram. It was truly a pleasure to speak and see each of you today. I'm definitely looking forward to participating furthermore with the Tennessee h.i.m group. Thank you, Monique, and everyone that has really welcomed me. And I hope each of us can get connected for Renowned Career Opportunities. I'll talk with you again very soon.